Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
It's just being the Joneses. Just being the Joneses. Just being the Joneses.
Mm-hmm. Just being the Joneses. Welcome back for another episode.
It's April and
Boss.
Bazos. Boss with the sauce.
Oh yeah. Who never lost.
So we are back with another episode of Just Being the Joneses. Episode 15, by the way, of season 2, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so how was your day?
My day was fine. Woke up healthy, went to work, came home. I'm still alive. That's like
I
you think when
had
you get old.
Yeah, that's how you know you old. That's
Like,
when you knew
oof,
you was
I'm still
old. When you
alive.
start when you start waking up saying, "Woo, I
Yeah.
made it! I made it out of sleep."
Shoot. When somebody like about 45, 46-year-old died, you be like, oh, how did he die? What happened to
You
him?
trying to make sure you can avoid it.
Shoot, yeah.
Oh
We get nervous,
man,
like, oh, what happened to him?
yeah, I know, right? That's a real thought, for real,
Serious.
for real, for real.
That's why I just be thankful for another day. Every day God give me.
Yep, I had a super chill day.
Mm.
I would say, I guess I'd say super chill. I mean, I started laundry and put the first load in the washing machine and never put it in the dryer. So
So
I
still in the
mean,
Washington.
I got caught up in the reading and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Nothing wrong with that. It'll find its way to the dryer before it gets stank.
yeah, soon and very soon.
Yeah.
So today, what are we talking about?
We are talking about forgiveness. That is the topic.
Ooh wee,
Forgiveness.
that could be tough, man.
It can be, depending on the situation, yeah.
Depending on the situation,
Can
certainly.
be.
Depending on the situation, depending on the person, depending on
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things. Some people might be more easily to forgive than others, but sometimes it depends on your experiences,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, I guess I would say I think I'm pretty easy to forgive. I don't really like holding grudges.
Me too. Overall, because holding grudges it's stress. And I try to find ways in my life to eliminate all stress. Well, not, there's going to be some stress. Some stress is good stress, but
Stuff you have
anything
control
negative,
over.
yeah, anything negative, then I just try to just live my life accordingly so that I don't have as much stress, all that negative stress.
Yeah,
If I can rid my life of negative stress, which includes holding on to a grudge, then sometimes it may be harder to do, but I could get around to it. I get around to it when I can.
well, I think sometimes it can be harder to forgive depending on how you define forgiveness.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you define forgiveness?
How do I define
Yeah.
forgiveness?
So, if you know you
Really?
forgave somebody, if you know somebody did something to you and you forgave them, how do you know that? Because
I know that within my heart, within my psyche, and how I feel about whether I truly forgave the person or not. 'Cause sometimes it's just
Well,
simply,
I
I
mean,
could just really get over it, forgive the person, and truly move on. But sometimes it'll take a while. Sometimes I have to tell myself several times that okay, I forgive this person. But sometimes, even though I say it to myself, I it's it sometimes it just don't happen the first time.
yeah. And I think sometimes forgiveness can be hard because, forgiveness can be hard anyway, either way.
Oh
But
yeah.
it can be harder when you look at it as releasing accountability off of the person who offended you, or you look at it as, okay, I gotta forgiving me forgetting, like something that you a lot of people been taught, or you gotta forgive and forget,
I don't know about
or
that.
yeah,
I don't do
or
that.
like um forgiveness and thinking that it helps like it gives that person some type of gratitude. And I mean, I don't see situations where certain people do something to somebody and then they demand forgiveness. But like, you can't demand forgiveness from somebody. That person has to genuinely be able to forgive you or decide to forgive you. That's a decision. That's a personal decision.
Yeah.
Right? So
when they're ready.
And sometimes it's like, okay, if I forgive them, then that's going to be something they going to feel good about, or that's doing something good or nice for that person. When really forgiveness is, who is it for really? You know what I mean? Like, forgiveness is not never thinking about the offense. Because you experience something. It's going to be there. That memory is there. Yeah.
Forgive and forget, when they say that, I get that's just a nice way of saying it, or kind of like just, forget about that. Forgive them and forget it. I mean, it's a saying to me, because you can't really forget.
Yeah. And actually, I don't really think even saying forgiving and forgetting is technically forget it and forget it like it never happened. Erase it from your brain.
That's right.
It's more like how you act on it, I think.
How you act on it, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how you act on it. And to me, forgiveness is more so releasing the ill feelings behind the offense. So somebody can do something like, I feel like there has been, I'm one of those people, and I think I'm a little bit better at this than I used to be.
Yeah.
Not that I don't forgive as much or as fast, but I am a benefit of the doubt, right? So I tend to like get a benefit of the doubt a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this person did XYZ, but I tend to give another opportunity to kind of, and they say when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, but it's like, I have grace. I lend grace, and then I lend room to be able to show me that this person, that maybe that was a mistake, or maybe they changed, or they, or whatever. But so I kind of have made some mistakes in the past by giving so many benefit of doubts, I think, to the same person.
Overdoing it.
Overdoing the benefit of the doubt, or not overdoing the forgiveness, because I think it's good to forgive, but just because I don't have ill feelings anymore, or I don't feel bitter about something, I don't feel angry about it, doesn't mean that I have to allow them that same opportunity to do the things to me. Yeah.
Right. That's right. And we were kind of talking about this earlier about an individual, about how he or she may have done something in the past, but I'm like, hey, well, it's been maybe they learned from it, maybe they understand that I need to do it a better way. I need to handle this situation in a better way for all of us, for me and my kids. And so when you say, giving grace and just forgiving, that's, forgiveness is very powerful, because, people do make mistakes. We're all human. We all have made mistakes, and we'll continue to make mistakes. And so I know if I make a mistake today, I would want forgiveness, especially if I'm showing a person, or if I'm showing all those around me that, hey, I really didn't mean that. I know I made that mistake. So, what I'm saying, I just hope that someone finds their heart to forgive me. So that's how I live my life. I try to find it in my heart. Well, I do find it eventually, that I will forgive somebody.
Yeah, you said something very important, because it's like how you said that if you made a mistake, you're talking about, I made this mistake, now let me make it right? But when you got people who have done something, or did an offense, and then they're not trying to make it right, and it's like you got to forgive them regardless. You got to forgive them without an apology. You got to forgive them about change, without change behavior, and not forgiving them in the sense of, you get to continue to wreak havoc in my life, but you still, for yourself, got to forgive that person without even them acknowledging that they did wrong.
Right.
And I've had to do that before.
That's very hard.
It is hard, but it's almost like it used to come so easy to me depending on how I felt about the person. And like I said, but it was bad in the sense that I did it because I still was allowing them back in my space, and they was continuing to wreak havoc around me and in my life, you know, and I didn't feel anything. Like, I knew I had forgiven them because, yeah, I can remember what you did, and I could see that what you did was wrong, but I allowed you back in my space. No acknowledgement, no accountability, no apologies, because I'm not really a person that chase after an apologist. Right, yeah. It's more so about how you act you know. But none of these things had contributed to my forgiveness for them, but I was wrong. I hurt myself, and I'm gonna put the hurt on me. I'm gonna put that I hurt myself, not that they hurt me. I hurt myself because I allowed them to keep showing me over and over again that this is who they were, over and over again, because I really cared about that person. Yeah. I really loved that person, and that person was really close to me, right? And that's just being It's like a family. Not only are you my family, but you're also my friend. Yeah. So it's like, and I did want that relationship with that person, because you create good memories with people. Even though people that do things against you, sometimes you can remember those good things. But the mistake that I made was I continued to allow them to continue these things, instead of setting those boundaries and saying, hey, I already know this person like this, so I can only allow them so close to me in these different situations. It wasn't until years later that I learned to know in certain situations or certain a certain amount of space I won't allow this person in my life, and in certain areas of my life I won't even allow this person in, right? So it's like some people struggle with forgiving and letting go of things, the bitterness and angerness behind things, when people don't show that. If somebody don't come and say, you know what, I was wrong, or you know what, I did that, or if they're lying, or if they continue to tell their own version of the story that does not mess with you, or they're playing the victim, that can make it hard for some people to forgive. Yeah. Because they don't acknowledge what they're doing. But the forgiveness is still at the end of the day for you. So first and foremost.
Because if you can get over it for yourself, then that's what's most important. Because you got to look out for number one first. At least that's how I am.
Because that unforgiveness can, when it manifests in you and fester and it eat at your heart. Yeah. I mean, that's harmful to yourself.
Yeah, it causes so much stress. Shoot, I mean.
Mental distress and.
Your mood be off and all kind of stuff. It affects everything.
But when I know that, like, how I knew that I was a person who easily forgive is that, somebody can do something to me, and yes, I can be upset about it, and then that I process those feelings and move through those feelings. But then when I think about the person, and if I see that's good is happening to them, or anything is happening in their life, that's good. Like, I'm happy for them. I can not talk to a person at all and still be happy for them. Yeah. And I can even say, hey, you know what? I can share my experience and tell something that I've been through, something that hurt me, or something that I was hurt by. But just because I'm telling that experience don't mean I'm still holding on to the situation, as far as, like, I don't forgive that person. Because the way I feel, I could tell by the way that I feel when I don't have those intense feelings, when I don't have those feelings behind, that anger, that bitterness, no any type of harsh thoughts or anything that I want to happen to them, or none of these things.
You don't want nothing bad to happen to them. You want them to
succeed. I can still feel the love for that person.
Yes, exactly. You still want them to succeed, be healthy, live a good life. And that's how that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I know it sometimes it may take a while for me to forgive. But once I start feeling those feelings that, hey, I really have forgiven this person, I'm happy for them. I'm happy to see them on social media or whatever. I'm happy about their success or anything like that. I mean, that's true forgiveness. Yeah. You feel it within yourself. I mean, that's the truth. True forgiveness.
And then you don't ruminate, like, because being unforgiveness, those thoughts will even eat at you. Like, you keep replaying this consistently and feeling these intense feelings behind. Like, if you could talk about something, that's just like if something happened that's you lose things in life or whatever, and that was, like, detrimental to you and traumatic to you, and it's, like, very hard to talk about certain things. without having these intense emotions behind it and stuff. That's like if you can share the story about some of the things that happened, but you don't feel that intense, these feelings, that you felt when when it happened, or these feelings of that kind of eat at
the
you and different things,
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, I try not to tag feelings as being negative, because all feelings are okay. But you can have negative thoughts that create certain feelings. You know what I mean?
That's
and
right,
stuff like that.
Yeah, about the negative thoughts. I was just thinking that sometimes when you hold on to stuff, or when you thinking negative about somebody, not only and I'm speaking for myself when I say this, but not only will I think about that, but I'll think about stuff will start being created in my mind. Scenarios being created in my mind, like, what if they did this or that, or said this about me, or I might want something bad to happen to them. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And I don't want to be walking around like that.
Yeah.
Just the type of person I am. I don't be wanting to, walk around all bitter and having those negative thoughts toward people and hoping bad stuff happen to them.
Yeah, and I never have that as far as negative thoughts toward people, but I do think that I am cautious about when I think, okay, what if they do X, Y, Z?
Right.
So I'm cautious about their behavior because I've experienced their behavior in a negative way before. So I don't trust them. Like, I've forgiven you, but I don't trust you. So therefore, I'm gonna kind of be like, okay, well, nah, I ain't gonna allow this
The boundary
happen. Yeah, I'm gonna place this boundary, because what if I don't place this boundary? What if this happen? What if they do this?
Let them in again, and then you're taking a risk. You're taking a big risk on your own, well-being.
Right. That's just like if you got a family member that might have stolen something from you, right? I mean, you might forgive them, but you ain't gonna let them in your house alone. You probably gonna watch them like a hawk.
Yes.
Because you already know they steal.
They can't be unsupervised.
You already know they steal, so
That's
it's
right.
like the smart thing to do.
I mean, you can, but you're taking a risk.
But yeah.
You know they steal, and no matter what they say, they may say, "Oh, I don't steal no more. I done changed my life." Cool. Trust but verify.
Because you know what? If they if your TV, if you let them house sit for you over the weekend and your TV come up missing, then that's on you.
It's on you at that
because
point.
you already know they
what kind
steal.
of person they are. Yeah.
Yes.
You know they steal.
If you leave your wallet sitting in the car while they in the car with you, and you run out and leave your wallet in the car while you run in the store,
and they gone.
And they
your wallet.
Baby, you knew they would steal, you set yourself up.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by taking accountability too for how you allow people to show up in your space once you know who they are.
Yeah.
Right? Which like I said, had done so many times before. I'm like, I already know what this person capable of, but I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, and we're gonna see where we go from here.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't take several times for somebody to show you before you could just forgive them and decide that I'm gonna forgive you, but I'm not gonna allow you to do these things to me.
I'm not gonna put myself in that situation again.
Right.
Let's still be cool, but let's be cool from this distance. Set this boundary up. Okay, you can't come over here, or you can't. I'm not going out with you past this time. I'm not drinking with you. I mean, boundaries gotta be
exactly
set up depending on what it is.
I know you messy. I'm not telling you nothing going on in my personal life. You know, just whatever.
Whatever it is.
So, but just like you said, forgiveness could take time.
Yes.
And it's a matter of it moving toward the forgiveness.
Yes. Knowing how to get there.
Because sometimes you get stuck. And it's like you stuck there because it's like it's hard to let go of you feel that impact, you feel the intensity of those emotions that you felt when the thing happened. So it's kind of like they hanging around, and then so it's like it's kind of hard to move out of that sometimes. But I think it's good to acknowledge that, okay, this happened, acknowledging the facts of what happened, right?
Right.
Because we all got our different perceptions of how things might have went down. But acknowledging the facts of what happened, releasing that person from, or releasing yourself from the idea that that person has to apologize to you or has to even sit down and give you closure or have to do anything, because they don't have to do anything.
They don't have to.
You only got to worry about what you need to do in order to move out of that situation. You ain't always going to have that other person willing to help you to move through that.
That's right.
You know, so that's,
because they may not even be willing to.
may not be willing to,
especially
and may
if
not
they
even
see-
feel like they were wrong.
That's right.
They
I was
may
just
have
about
a
to say,
different
especially if they
perspective.
see what themselves as doing is they didn't do anything wrong, then of course they're going to be thinking, well, what do I have to apologize?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to apologize for if I didn't do anything wrong?
Yeah, because
So
I
that's
feel
a-
like at some point everybody has been in a situation where they might have said something or done something where they don't feel like they was wrong, right?
Right.
And I'm one of those people who, if I don't feel like I was wrong, I don't feel like I need to apologize. That's just it. I mean, you
Yeah.
might think I was wrong, but I have to mean it from my heart to do it.
Yeah.
I can't just do something because somebody said do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like I have to really feel it in my heart to do that.
That's right.
You know. So it's like, but if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But if I ain't wrong, I'm probably not going to apologize. More than likely.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. I mean, 'cause an apology it's strong words, really, because that's something you're supposed to mean.
It's something you're supposed
You know
to
what I'm
mean.
saying? So it's not something that should be taken lightly. Or I mean, if you really found yourself to be at fault for the conflict or whatever, then apology is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like you say, everybody's not going to apologize because everybody's not going to feel like they're wrong.
Yeah. And I try my best to see where I could have also been contributed to some wrongness in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it be I wronged you or whether it be I wronged myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to look at different angles, you know, of the situation. And if I just keep coming up like I ain't wrong,
Yeah.
I can't come up with no way that I feel like I was wrong in the situation
Then you
or
probably
anything I could have done better.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
at that point, because
Because some people you got to be careful. Some people will just ask for an apology just because they'll demand it.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you probably didn't do anything wrong, but then they'll still demand an apology, and it's like, what do? You know?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm just not that person. Like, I'm not demanding an apology for anybody.
Yeah.
I can forgive without getting an apology.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I realized that whatever I can walk around with these feelings that I'm having,
Yeah.
and it's not affecting the other person. They not feeling it, what I'm feeling.
Right.
They only feeling what they feeling. So if they don't move past whatever this situation is, and I'm still over here in turmoil about it,
Mm-hmm.
that's hurting me.
That's hurting you, yeah.
Because sometimes people hold on to anger, and I get why they do that. It's almost like a way to survive. So it's okay to a certain extent, but you don't stay stuck. You're moving through this. You're moving forward. You're moving, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes people hold on to anger as a way to protect themselves. They feel like they need to hold on to that anger or that bitterness to protect themselves from that person.
Yeah.
You don't have to hold on to the anger and the bitterness to protect themselves from that person.
Or not even that, just that person, others.
Yeah,
who
others.
They may feel be a threat, and they'll, people will fortify their heart. Like if a man was done wrong by a woman, his wife, or whoever, and he might be like, you know what, and it there may have been a trend of the same thing happening to him.
Mm-hmm.
Then they fortify their hearts and their mind to be like, well, you know what, I ain't forget this. I'm gonna start acting this way to protect myself, like you said, to survive, so that I don't get hurt like this again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that stuff happens.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a matter of also not just forgiving somebody else, but forgiving yourself, right?
Yourself.
Because people have
Yeah.
done things to others, and they know they caused hurt to these people, and they like have a hard time forgiving themselves.
Yeah.
Like you see it when you see like even drunk drivers. Sometimes they have got out there, they driving drunk, they've gotten in an accident, they survived, they killed somebody,
Yeah.
and they're living with this, right?
For the rest of their life.
For the rest of their life,
And they hold on to that.
Sometimes they have a hard time forgiving themselves.
Yeah,
Sometimes, and even in a relationship, somebody messed up, and that relationship, it can still be, it can be hanging on by a thread, or it can be, you could be together intensely, or you can be apart. But sometimes that person will hang on, like if somebody cheat or something, and they not necessarily what you would deem a cheater,
Yeah.
um, that can really eat them up. Just the guilt of it, can really eat them up. And it's like, because you haven't forgiven yourself.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
still carrying that guilt.
That's right.
And guilt will eat you up
It will tear
real
you right
bad.
up. Yep. Because it's strong. It's a very strong, what do you call it, an emotion, feeling. And it's serious. And that's why you got to try to overcome that whenever you can, as soon as you can. It may not be as quick as you want it to, but I mean, I believe that if you work on it, work on yourself, you'll eventually get there. If you want to.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah.
We're all different. It may take some of us longer than others, but I mean, you can get there.
Yeah, and it may take some work.
It may take some work.
So
it may take some therapy. May need some help. You probably can't. Sometimes we need some help. We can't do it all alone. And there's nothing wrong with going to seeking someone, professional help if you need to.
Yeah, get some help, pray about it.
Exactly.
And, have people that you can actually, like, I feel like I have a pretty good couple of people that I can say, kind of express if I need to.
Right.
Things that I'm feeling, or if I need help with processing something.
Right.
Along with my therapist, but outside of my therapist. Like, I feel like I can get pretty solid, perceptions and different things like that from other people. So
I believe I can too. Yeah, I got some pretty good support system. Got some people.
Don't talk about me with nobody. Do not be out there talking about me with none of your support system, cause I'm just playing.
Support system. My work wife.
You already know you don't got no work wife. You do not have a work wife.
I sure don't.
But
oh man.
Yeah, so forgiveness, it can be something.
Yes. It's very necessary.
Yeah. And like, there's some really horrible things that have happened to people, and they've struggled with forgiveness and really had to like go through that process, because it's a process.
Yeah.
And really go through that process of forgiving without even having any, because sometimes people die.
Yeah.
People die before you can even get a chance. Like, you could never even have no type of hope or nothing that you're going to actually get answers or talk to this person or get any type of closure that you might be looking for from a personal or conversation or anything like that.
That's right.
Because you have situations where people don't find out things until their spouse or their parent or their friend or somebody is deceased. And now you got to process, you got to process grief along with whatever this thing is that you found out, without that person even being there for you to even talk to.
Yeah, that's right. I ain't thinking
So
about that.
it's a lot of different situations that can make forgiveness extremely hard.
Yes.
Extremely hard. And then sometimes even with the person still living, you processing grief and loss while you're trying to forgive someone, depending on what happened. You might be grieving the loss of a relationship or the loss of a friendship or the idea of what you thought something was going to be that it's not. Now your life is going to look different from what you thought it was going to look because of something that might have happened or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're processing this, and on top of that, you're moving through the grief forgiveness process. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that can
That's
be
heavy.
tough.
That's heavy.
And that's why it's a good idea to know when it's time to go talk to somebody. And help get somebody to help you process through those things.
Better sooner than later. Better sooner than later. 'Cause you don't want got to deal with it within yourself, and the sooner you forgive and forget, then the better off you'll be. Forgive and forget.
Yeah, I mean, some people think that, and another like I said, the forget part can be can mean that you're no longer you no longer have those ill feelings. Like you still remember that thing, but you don't have those ill feelings anymore. But then on top of that, some people also think that forgetting means that you never talk about it again. You just it's just was in the past. That's it. We don't touch it no more. But let's talk about like forgiving in an active relationship, right?
Okay.
So you're in a relationship, marriage, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's your partner, there's some type of offense that was done. What's a good way to count, or a good example? Why Did I Get Married?
The movie.
And when Janet Jackson, she played the role of Patty, and she got in a car accident, didn't strap her son in.
Thought she did.
She thought she did, but she didn't. Got in an accident, the kid, died in the accident.
Right.
Now you got her feeling guilty. She carrying this, and she haven't forgiven herself. Then you got her husband who walking around haven't forgiven her. And they was like kind of sweeping it under the rug, and wasn't dealing with it.
Yeah.
And then one day everything just exploded.
Blew up in their face.
Blew up. Because it was all these intense feelings still there, like the elephant in the room was there, but they was trying to walk around it.
Trying to live their lives without mentioning it, without bringing it up, and it seemed like she was having a hard time even looking at their son's picture. And
the guilt that she had, she couldn't enjoy memories of her son because she was being eaten up by that guilt.
Yep, that guilt was tearing her up, and in turn it tore up their relationship.
It did.
Yeah.
And like, I think the hardest part, I want to say, from my perspective, I think that he could have worked through some of it, of his unforgiveness, maybe easier had she been willing to talk about it, right? But that goes back to, how can you forgive somebody? Like, being able to forgive somebody without having that other person to, relying on that other person to be able to talk you through that at the same time. But it was difficult, extremely difficult, because for one, they're still sharing a life together. They're still waking up to each other every day. They're still living they whole existence around each other mainly. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and then, but they ignoring this big thing that happened. And partly because she don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, and it caused them a clash every time.
Because talking about it to her would mean that now I have to actually face that, that guilt that she was carrying, that it was her fault.
Yeah, the mistake.
And the fact that you think it was my fault. And you are blaming me.
Yeah. But instead of moving forward, letting that go, or learning how to let that go, they just let it pretty much fester and tear up their relationship. And like you said, if she would have been willing to talk about it, then they could have made it a long way together.
Well,
probably could have.
It's different things that could have happened to probably make that situation better, though. Because he also could have said, okay, let me go talk to my own individual therapist and process, these feelings that I'm having, about the situation that happened. So right now she's not in a place and she's not ready to talk about this. Like that's not what she is.
Right.
He wanted to force her to do it, but that's not what she was. So she was really doing everything she could to hold herself together, right?
Yeah.
So, and they couldn't really support each other in the situation because it was too much of, I think he blamed me, him actually blaming her, and then her blaming herself.
Herself, yeah.
So,
that was too much baggage basically for that. There was a lot of baggage that they both were holding on to. Everything you just mentioned. I mean, that's some heavy stuff, especially when dealing with they lost their child.
Yeah, the grief on top of that.
Grief, yeah. I mean, that's some heavy stuff. And if you're not processing it right, then yeah, it's gonna just explode.
Cause he could have pretty much, what was his name? I forgot. Evan or what? His name was it was played by Malik Yoba.
I forgot.
But I forgot his name.
I remember she was Perfect Patty. But I forgot his name.
I got a very like disturbing confession to make about that movie.
Disturbing confession.
Yeah. So
What?
when she was like crying in the kitchen and she was like, perfect Patty, then I was laughing like for real, like that part every single time I laugh. I laugh.
You be laughing at the damnedest stuff. I
Perfect Patty messed up.
I'd be like, how is this funny?
It's just the way that it was like it just was, I don't know, that just was, I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. I mean, gosh.
But you wouldn't do that in real life, right?
I hope not. I don't know, but I hope not. So, but I mean, I feel like they both had a responsibility in that situation.
Yes.
So if you're in a relationship, you both have a responsibility to that relationship. So you both have the responsibility to work on, if you're going to be together, to work on forgiveness, to work on forgiving each other, work on forgiving yourself. You have a responsibility to that relationship to do that, because a relationship, one of the biggest things that keep a relationship together or help a relationship to thrive is forgiveness, over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of forgiveness.
Yeah. So
because stuff is gonna happen all the time.
Yeah.
We're all changing. We're gonna make mistakes, and that's just being human.
Yeah.
You know, that's just simply being human. There's really no way around it. You're gonna make mistakes, but forgiveness, like you say, you should forgive for yourself first, and then for those around you.
Well, forgiveness for me is gonna be just solely for me, and if it got to do for my relationship,
that's what I'm
then
saying. That's what I mean.
Oh, you mean we still talking about in terms of relationship?
Well, I mean just because if something happened, like if something happened to me at work or whatever, and, somebody done me wrong, and then I'm stressed about it because I haven't forgave that person, and I come home upset about it, how that's gonna affect my family.
True.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you forgive for yourself, but then also how would it affect everyone around you? Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, how are you allowing this situation to affect your relationship with other people or your interactions with other people?
Right.
And that can happen. You could be taking out crap on the wrong person.
That's right.
And a lot of times people tend to take stuff out on the closest people to them.
That's right.
The ones they see every day.
People bring that home and everybody suffers. Everybody got to hear about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a little nagging, but sometimes it can get physical. Plates thrown across the room and all that kind of stuff.
Gosh.
Hey.
That's tough.
It happens somewhere.
Yeah.
It happens.
For real. Sometimes people have a bad day at work. If abusers have a bad day at work and come home and beat their wife.
Yeah.
So, or either not just beat, but if it's not physical, come home and talk to them in the kind of way, because you taking it out on somebody, And you feel safer to take it out on that person.
Yeah, that's definitely not fair.
Yeah.
Because if your family members and friends, they didn't do anything wrong. In that situation, I mean, it was the people at work or wherever.
Unforgiveness can affect your life in a major way. So if you don't, if I know if I don't forgive somebody, I can't have the peace that I want to have every day from day to day.
Right.
And sometimes unforgiveness keeps people from moving forward in certain things, like their careers and everything. And like you were saying earlier, even with like allowing somebody to love them or allowing somebody, the that anybody else that haven't even done anything to them.
Yeah.
And that falls on trust, really. Like sometimes that how you trust people can depend on how other people have treated you.
Yeah.
But it definitely can run your life in the ground because you could be so focused and hyper focused on what somebody did to you that you can't concentrate on how you can become a better person.
That's right, yeah.
And better your life.
A whole bunch of negative thoughts will consume you.
Yeah. So, forgiveness is not always easy, but it's necessary for yourself, for your well-being, for your mental health.
And for your loved ones.
And as Boss said, for your loved ones.
Yes. Yes.
But I don't feel like you owe anybody forgiveness. You owe yourself to forgive others.
Yeah.
So nobody's entitled to your forgiveness. But you're entitled to forgive for others for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a good way to look at forgiveness. For sometimes people struggle with it because they feel like they're releasing somebody of some type of accountability, and that don't have to be the case. So, yep. Forgiveness.
Ooh, yeah. Forgive, y'all. Forgive. You can do it.
Yeah, I mean, move through it. Sometimes you gotta take your time, but move through it.
Yeah.
Move,
Keep moving.
move,
Keep moving
move,
through
push, move.
Yeah.
And don't feel like you have to allow somebody to keep wreaking havoc on your life to forgive them, because no. Don't do it. Been there, done that, and have came a long way down a long road. So, but okay, nice.
All right, good talk.
Yeah, so you finna go work on your forgiveness to forgive me for not cooking tonight because I ain't about to. Nah. I'ma sling that chicken in the oven. But okay.
And I'm gonna put your clothes in the dryer.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Teamwork made the dream work.
Make it work.
I'd rather you put the chicken in the oven. I'll put my clothes in the oven.
Hey, it's your turn to cook.
But okay, so we're going to go. Mm-hmm. And we hope that our podcast is definitely for entertainment, but we definitely want listeners to get something, to have a takeaway. So we hope you were able to take something out of this.
If not for
podcast.
yourself, and maybe for someone else.
Yeah.
Or maybe you hear this, listen to it, or whatever, and you may know someone going through the same situation, a similar situation.
Yep. And let us know in our DM we are on IG at Just Being the Joneses. Let us know if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, and we will get around to that. And so it's Just Being the Joneses. And we out of here.
Just being the Joneses.